Hey, it's me, Tammy B, and this is my review for the haves and have-nots, you guys. So we are in season 4, episode 17, titled An Accident. And I'm assuming this accident is the stabbing. But would you guys consider this an accident? I mean, he stabbed her. But I guess it was an accident based off of instinct. So I guess I can get that. So anyway, you guys, we're at the Cryer Mansion, and y'all, Hannah is so slow with that 911 call, y'all, but I am so here for it, you know. So Veronica stabbed, Catherine and Hannah are both there, and you know, Veronica and Catherine are saying call 911, call 911. So Hannah slowly calls. And I totally get it. Like I said, I even would have pushed her on down on the couch. But, you know, then again, I don't want my fingerprints on her body. So maybe not. So Veronica calls Jeffrey a son of a bitch. And I was like, yeah, that sounds actually perfectly right. And Hannah clearly thought what I thought. Because she was like, well, you know, when you say that, you're cussing yourself. Hannah said that to Veronica. So I was like, yeah, my thoughts exactly. So Hannah was slow to call, and then when she called, the person was like, you know, who's there, who did it, what is she saying, or whatever. And Hannah was trying not to like throw Jeffrey under the bus. She was just trying to say like, hey, somebody is stabbed here, we need help. Like, can you just send an ambulance versus asking all these questions? Now, I understand from the EMT's perspective, like, yeah, you have to ask questions to assess the scene of the crime. But I understand Hannah, like, hey, I don't want to be involved with this. I ain't about to snitch on no young little dude and just get all involved, yada, yada, yada. And technically it's your fault. And, hey, did you die? Like, so I'm kind of here for Hannah, but I do think she could have handled the call better because, like, the EMT even asked her, or the person, I don't know the title or the position of the person who answered the phone, but when you call 911, but even they was like, did you do it? So yeah, I would have said just enough to get them to come, like, hey, somebody's been stabbed, I don't know what happened, just please come quick, she's laying right here with blood. Or, well, she didn't have no blood, but you know, I would have just said something like that. But you know, whatever. And then it's funny, Veronica made the comment, she wants me dead, referring to Hannah. And then Catherine was like, no, she doesn't. And then Hannah was like, Mrs. Cryer, like, don't speak for me. Like, she was like, Mrs. Cryer, I called the police. So just to confirm, so I took that as Hannah saying, like, don't be saying all that, but hey, I did call the police. So I thought that was funny. Y'all, so Jeffrey having blurred psychotic visions in his hotel room. Like, he picturing everything his mama been saying, everything Landon been saying, him killing Quincy, him getting beat up by Quincy. So he just picturing everything, and he panicking. In a panic, he called Candy. And you know what the funny thing is, I was thinking, like, it's something about that girl. Like, everybody calls her when things go wrong, or when, like, she really is good at consoling folks, if you know what I mean. Whether they calling her on a sex tip, whether they calling her in a I'm panicked, I need your help type tip, but people always seem to call Candace when they need to feel better. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But she tells Jeffrey not to panic, she need to make a run, and she'll be there in a second, and she arranged for him to go get another room just so he wouldn't be flipping out. So the DA, David goes to talk to the DA, y'all, Lisa McDowell. Oh my goodness, y'all. And so David just tell her, like, hey, it's your fault that Wyatt is dead. Like, you know, you should do something about it, or something like that. Or you should go see Jim. And she was like, I'm not going to see Jim, I'm prosecuting him, yada, yada, yada. And then David was like, I know you. And she even looked up and kind of like changed her stance a little bit when he said that. So of course, when I heard that, I'm thinking like he know her like in a biblical way or the sexual way. But then she said something slick later, like, oh, Maggie got with you further than I did. So we know him and Maggie had sex. So that's why I'm saying, like, so did y'all not have sex? Like, why don't they just clear that up? But maybe I was thinking, like, well, maybe the DA meant, like, maybe they had sex. Lisa McDowell and David, maybe they had sex way back in the day, but she was still trying to get some now. And he was saying no, but Maggie, she was able to get some, like, now since he married. So maybe I was like, maybe that's what she meant. Like, oh, she was able to get further than I did, like, in this whole more recent realm. But I don't know. But anyway, the DA go ahead and tell her where Wyatt is at so he can identify the body. But another interesting thing that the DA said is that they changing Amanda's death to a homicide. And I don't know what you guys think about that. I guess it'll be interesting, but at the same time, didn't we almost see her pull the trigger? I mean, I guess we saw her with the gun, so we just assumed. So I don't know, did the professor come back and shoot her, or did Quincy go back and shoot her? Like, I don't know who would kill her, but you know, like the DA saying, they do got a lot of enemies, but I don't know. So Jeffrey is freaking out in the new room still, so he calls Down Low Cop Guy. Down Low Cop Guy get out of bed with his wife, y'all, to go see Jeffrey down to the motel. And I thought it was kind of interesting how they told each other they love each other, the wife and the cop. Well, I mean, you could still love people and still cheat on them. I don't support that. I'm just saying. I believe that you can. Right or wrong. So anyway, it's so funny when Jeffrey called the Down Low Cop Guy. I don't know why I thought he was gonna call Landon. Maybe just because Landon is kind of comforting, but Landon probably gone, so who knows. So Benny and Mike are casing out the campaign office, coming up with ways to try to get David Harrington to turn their phone back on. Benny just wanted to beat him up, straight G style, but then Mike was like, is his name Mike or Mitch? Was like, oh, you gotta hit him where it hurts. Like, he didn't come fight you, he hit you in your pockets, and that's where it hurts. So where does he hurt? And then so Benny brought up Jeffrey. I was like, no, not Jeffrey, y'all, leave Jeffrey alone. He going through too much. Like, y'all leave Jeffrey alone. But I guess they headed to Jeffrey house. But do she even know where Jeffrey lived? Do Candace or do Benny know that Jeffrey lived with Candace? Well, technically live at the hotel, but and what would he do to Jeffrey? You know, but I don't know. I do think that was a good plan. I think Mitch, you know, or / Mike, I don't know, definitely put Benny up on a little bit of game, but I just don't want nothing to happen to Jeffrey. And I thought it was cute that Benny told Mike, like, don't be sleeping on those old bras, she had some moves. So it was good to Jeffrey. Veronica put that old school thing on him. Y'all, so Down Low Cop Guy come, and he come in his police uniform, but I guess he told his wife he was going to investigate the homicide, so I guess you gotta dress the part. But so Jeffrey gonna ask the cop, am I talking to the cop or am I talking to the guy who was handcuffed to the bed? I'm like, it's a little too late for that question, because as soon as he walked in the door, you already admitted that you killed your mother. So at this point, it's a little too, I guess the Down Low Cop Guy wanted some more questions answered. So then Jeffrey gonna ask that question. I was like, okay, I get why you're asking that question, but Jeffrey, you like one sentence too late, but whatever. Down Low Cop Guy was like, we don't talk about stuff like that in regards to the handcuff stuff. But I'm like, whatever, guy. So, long story short, the Down Low Cop Guy calls to see if Jeffrey has a warrant. He doesn't, so he try to calm him down. Y'all, then he gonna tell the Down Low Cop Guy, Jeffrey gonna say, take me to Candace's house, I got something to show you. I was like, no, Jeffrey, like, I know you going through it, but one thing at a time. Like, you ain't even told your daddy all this stuff, and you about to tell this little half and half on the fence dude? Like, no. Oh my gosh, I'm so not here for this, Jeffrey. So y'all, David go down to the motel. He asked them to turn Wyatt over. Y'all, 32 hours and they did not turn him over. Who does that? I don't care if you're a cop, you're a police, if you're the hotel person. I just think that anybody in their right mind would turn the body over. You know, and then when David asked him to turn it over, the cop turned it over real quick with no hesitation. I just can't believe in all this time they didn't check. Isn't that part of checking pulse in the first place? But y'all, David touches Wyatt and he sees that Wyatt is still warm, so they drag him off the bed and they call in the ambulance for real. So once again, this 32 hours ain't nobody called no ambulance. I know y'all called the police, and I know certain police are trained to detect, but no, isn't that a conflict of interest anyway? When a police pronounce the person dead, you need another person, an EMT or a paramedic or a coroner or something. So, but okay, we know it's a story, so whatever. So just like we thought, y'all, Wyatt probably not dead. Y'all, so the paramedics finally come in, y'all, and they gonna tell Veronica that she gonna say the knife is 6 inches. Hannah was like, that knife was like 2 inches. It was a paring knife. And the paramedic gonna say, oh, it looked like the breast implant stopped it or whatever. She was like, I don't have breast implants. And I'm like, girl, the cat is out the bag. And I'm like, who cares? Even if you do, it's not like they look all crazy and outrageous. So if you got a little nip tuck, ain't that part of y'all little community anyway? But whatever. I mean, you so open about the wig, why wouldn't you be open about the breast plants? But whatever. So they were like, oh, can you walk? And she's like, I can't walk, I'm stabbed. The lady just snatched the little knife out of her titty. I was rolling, y'all. I'm still surprised it didn't bleed even a little bit, but hey. So she walk out and she acting all crippled, getting help, asking Catherine to grab her purse for her. Oh, did y'all catch that when the doorbell rang and Catherine looked at Hannah? Hannah looked right back at Catherine like, yeah. I'm like, finally. But it's so funny now that she finally did what I wanted her to do. At that time, I didn't think it was the right time because I'm like, I do agree the fact that y'all, Catherine's son is dead. Well, you know, she think her son is dead, y'all. Y'all fighting, y'all stabbing each other. Like, y'all supposed to all be over here to console her. So, in that sense, I was like, hey, Hannah, you already helping. Like, you could have went open the door. Catherine could even barely get up to go help Veronica when Veronica got stabbed. You see how she stumbled all over the couch to try to help Veronica? I mean, I know half of that was out of shock, but I took the other half of that is because she's still dealing with her own son's death. But I was still happy that Hannah was just like, yeah, like, I answered the door once. I ain't about to keep on answering it now. Especially for her. That's probably why Hannah really didn't do it, because it was to help Veronica. Y'all, Hannah was rolling. I was laughing too. Catherine wasn't here for it, y'all. She looked like she was like, it's not funny. And Hannah was like, I'm sorry. And she was like, yeah, my son is still dead. You know, you need to leave. So basically Catherine went ahead and kicked Hannah out. But I'm like, come on now. You gotta understand. I mean, Catherine even said slick stuff about Veronica before, so I don't understand why Catherine don't understand where Hannah's coming from. But, you know, she in a fragile state, so we'll just blame it on that. So Candace calls Benny to tell him about Jeffrey killing Veronica. So she asks to call Hannah. She called her Hannah instead of Mama. To find out what's going on. So Benny know that Hannah mad at her because of Veronica, but he go ahead and call anyway, y'all. But Hannah wouldn't tell her nothing, and I was like, why? Like, this is the part where I don't like Hannah. Like, okay, I understand, like, maybe she felt like, just like she was protecting Jeffrey in a sense by not telling the cops on the phone that he was the stabber, maybe she felt like, oh, well, my son don't need to know. The less my son know about a possible murder, the better. So if she coming from that perspective, I kind of get it. But your son knows some information and he directly asks you, why wouldn't you tell him? Like, it wouldn't hurt you. Like, he clearly know, like, why? And she was like, how you know that? Like, does it really matter? And how else would she know? Clearly Jeffrey must have told him, you know, or told somebody. So I just didn't get why Hannah wouldn't tell her, like, yeah, she stabbed. And okay, Hannah, as a mother, like, sometimes we don't like our son's girlfriend or boyfriend. But what are you gonna do? Be mean to her whole life? I mean, I understand she married, but I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, that is his boo, or they did have sex. So even though you're not here for Benny and Veronica having sex, like, hey, if something happened to my jump off, I would want to know. Like, don't keep that information from me. So I didn't like that. But anyway, that was pretty much the episode. The best parts was, of course, Hannah just being so slow with that call to the paramedics for Veronica. And I think that was pretty much the best part. But oh, and the fact that Wyatt is not possibly dead, or Wyatt is still breathing and warm. So I'm excited to see what happened with that. The previews look good, so it looked like we're going to get 2 good episodes back to back, you guys. Lisa McDowell pulled up while Hannah was talking to Benny, so she hurried up and got off the phone. So maybe that could be another reason, like, hey, the cops are behind me. I don't need to be saying stuff in close proximity. But girl, bye. Before they got out, you was already on the phone with Benny, and he asked you that, so you could have told him. So Lisa McDowell goes in the house, and Catherine comes backstairs like, oh, you got the nerve to be here, and charged at her. I was here for it, because I don't care. Even if it is true that somebody could possibly have killed Wyatt and the other daughter, Amanda, so what? You still gave him that money, and it's because of you he was even in the hotel. If he didn't have the money, he could have been overdosing in his bedroom, and I'm pretty sure they got security cameras and gates, so even if somebody on the outside wanted to kill the Cryer kids, they wouldn't have killed it that easily if he didn't have the money. So I'm here for Catherine charging Lisa McDowell. Y'all, you know War's in jail, y'all. War pull up in jail. Guess who his cellmate about to be? Jim. Well, I'm assuming that unless he just passing by. But all we see is War looking in Jim's cell like, so we meet again. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's going to be good. I'm looking forward to see what that is. Justin, y'all. Down low cop guy. Finally, Justin. This is the first time I wrote his name down. And so yeah, Jeffrey went ahead and took Justin over to Candace's house, and they are in the backyard. Why, I do not know. But hey, y'all, we don't like Justin, but Justin might end up being our little friend. He might end up being our little boo for real, or Jeffrey boo for real. So we'll see, y'all. And then the homegirl called Candace asking for a picture of Oscar. So now we about to find out what's what with Oscar. I'm kind of interested to hear Oscar's story. I kind of almost forgot about him. And of course, since he kind of do load Candace for the money, I'm not here for it. Even though we know it's for Jim's sake or / David's sake. But hey, I'm interested to hear Wyatt's story. So that was pretty much it, you guys. That was the have and the have nots. So you know what's up. Give me a thumbs up on this video. Go ahead and check me out on Twitter at TammyB_. All right, see you in the next review. Bye.